Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm chatting with Roger Rosmus from Goliath Resources. In today's interview, we discuss how the company recently did a very large financing that has expanded their 2025 drill program from 40,000 to 60,000 meters. I asked Roger what he hopes to prove with this additional drilling and how the company recently relogged some old holes and what that means for shareholders. All right, everybody, enjoy the interview. Don't miss the Rural Symposium for Natural Resource Investing happening July 7th in Boca Raton. If you can't make it in person, that's not a problem. You can get your ticket to watch live online or on demand. We'll be there with the deep dive, so if you make it out to Boca, come say hi at our booth. If you want to sign up, click on the link in the description to get your pass. Roger, it's great to see you again.
Great. Thanks for having me back. We've got some excellent things to be sharing with the folks following the story. So it's timing is perfect.
Okay, so let's start off. First off, I just got to ask you about your thoughts on the gold market here. It looks like we're kind of in a little bit of a consolidation phase. What's your outlook on gold right now? You think we can go higher than here? I imagine you're happy if we just sit above 3,000. But when you think about the gold market, what's going through your head?
Yeah, I think like I say, a little retrace here, a little consolidation. Clearly, we're not going to WW3 here with stuff going on overseas. But things are, so I guess, somewhat de-escalating. And no, it's nice to see green today. Obviously got whacked pretty hard the day before. And, ultimately, we look at long term for us anyways. We think now easily could be like a 3,400 to 35 by next year at some point. I think being conservative, silver, again, obviously that helps us as well because we do have some silver in our gold equivalency, but majority it's kind of 90 to 95% is gold. And so I'd like to see silver jump up here again, just more on a just from my own personal investments to see some of my silver names start to move here.
So let's get right into Goliath. We've had you on after you raised some money from Rob McEwen, and we were joking at the time that we suspected that Rob would hop in based on the drill holes you guys put out, and he loves high grade, big intersections, which you guys had. So you got 10 million from Rob. You got 27 million from a financing that I think is just in the process of being completed now. And in addition to that, you guys have had a whole bunch of warrant exercises. Where's these funds going towards?
Sure. So, as of March 31st statement, we had, call it 20 million plus or minus of cash, liquid securities. Part of that was the $10 million investment by McEwen Mining that we currently own. And the additional financing, which closed, that's why I was in Toronto there last week, of $27 million comprised of a $23 million bot deal with Stiefel as lead book runner, as well as we had CIBC and Cormark part of the syndicate, and then there was a sidecar $4 million non-broker placement 4-month hold that took us to 27 million. So we're very well positioned to execute on our upsized drill program that we announced this morning, actually, going from 40,000 meters up to 60,000 meters, which is pretty big feat. But we've got 9 rigs currently. We've got 5 turning, another 4 will be showing up in the next couple of weeks here. So I think we'll have enough time in the season. Fingers crossed that Mother Nature gives us some nice warm weather into September, so we could wrap things up before the end of September. So that's kind of what's on the table at the moment.
So you guys recently announced some relogging of old drill core. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so through the off season, working with Colorado School of Mines and the team members, we went through thousands of photos. I think about 90,000 meters of photos, identifying certain areas that looked to be prospective to be relogged and actually sent for assay. So all these holes never went for assay. The key or one of the key components there being from this reduced intrusive the feeder dikes that we're seeing, which are, of Eocene age, which is around 52 million years of age. And the common knowledge in the triangle was that, all these granitoid dikes, granitoids wouldn't really carry or host any high grade, economical grades of gold or any type of mineralization over mineable width. So we've actually, where they spearheaded this new discovery, never been reported before. So, it's really going to change the landscape of how current explorers are looking at their projects within the Golden Triangle. I mean, we were fortunate enough to grab another like almost 30,000 hectares of land to the south of us, which was wide open, which is all this granitoid looking type of material. And so there's, highly prospective for, possibly a discovery to the south of us as well. So, we had the benefit of that as well. Again, with working with Colorado School of Mines, and, the team was focused on the high grade shear zones up until 2024, mid 2024. Of looking, for the galena, sphalerite, pyrrhotite pyrite, which was kind of like the common visual that we see in all the core from the various lodes that are, kind of dipping to the gently dipping to the southwest type of thing. So every year, we've discovered new things about the system itself, and throwing some science into it as well has really helped us immensely.
So, do you guys have a sense that you guys found some new areas from this relogging program, or is this just sort of a confirmation of what you thought was already
Yeah,
there?
no, it definitely is some new areas that where obviously if it has expanded the mineralized zones or horizons that we know of. So clearly we are able to now go and drill in areas that, further to the northeast, east, and west. In addition to the hydropluton, which is just clearly just right to the west, attached to the Sherbet, which we've never put a drill hole in before. So, and again, that could possibly be the magmatic intrusive that we've been looking for. So, but I mean, right now we've got a number of theories that we're following up on this year. We're going to put in some very deep holes. I think we've got a couple 1,400-meter holes planned, and a couple 1,000-meter holes planned as well to go, fairly deep into the system. And again, going below the valley floor, of which, majority of our holes to date are still, about 200 meters above the valley floor. So clearly there's lots more to be discovered here at the Sherbet. And again, every year, the more we drill, the bigger it gets. We still don't know how big it is. And so, we'll keep on drilling until we kind of can put some parameters onto the size of the system.
So, I want to get into the exploration at it that you will be driving into the Sherbet discovery. We could probably make the entire interview about that itself. What's the high level here?
Yeah, high level is, it's super early days. We've hired JDS Mining to put together some ideas as far as an Addit, the costs or potential costs, as well as looking at what would it cost to put a road in. And ultimately, at the end of the day, they'll give us a report here. They could be on site in the next few weeks and coming up with a proposal. So we'll have to take a look at that. But at the end of the day, I don't know how long the permitting will take place. I mean, initially, for our drill permit, the first one, the maiden, took us almost a year and a half. An amendment took a year. So presumably an Addit could be, take a guess, maybe 2 years. I have no idea. But ultimately, it's going to come down to cost. Right now, we do have a drill permit for 199 drill pads for the entire project. So that we know we can continue drilling. That covers the entire project as well. So it's going to come down to dollars and cents as to what's going to benefit the shareholders in the shortest amount of time.
Is the Addit expected to allow for bulk sampling?
That would be part of it as well. Like a 10,000 ton bulk sample would be part of it. That could again possibly pay for a road.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you the Rick Rule question that he always likes to ask exploration companies. When you think about your drill program and you think about, okay, 60,000 meter drill program, that's pretty gigantic.
It is.
what is it that you would like to prove? What's the hypothesis that you want to prove with this year's drill program?
The hypothesis is going to be to expand on the known horizons, possibly drill into the causative, intrusive, the magmatic intrusive body that is there somewhere, providing all this, that did provide all this mineralization to the system, based on the type of analysis in the dikes from the reduced intrusive material we're seeing with high grade gold, high grade widths, or pardon me, mineable widths, would suggest that this magmatic body is still having some decent grades of gold in it. So that's certainly one of the aspects. Another aspect is to really tighten up on some of the spacing. For the most part, in the higher grade zones of Sherbet and Bonanza, specifically Bonanza, where we're seeing lots of 6 to 9 meter intercepts over an ounce. We're seeing half ounce type material. So there certainly is one area that will have some really tight spacings of 50 meters, some instances 25-meter spacing, and then on a bigger area, kind of 1,000 by 1,000 meters of the Bonanza. And again, trying to demonstrate by the end of the year to show that the continuity is there, that anyone that could do just a back of the envelope calculation and determine that this high grade zone contains potentially X amount of gold in it, with kind of like an average width of what it comes out to be at the end of the year. So with that, certainly senior miners are looking for kind of that high grade 1 to 2 million ounces mineable widths that would pay for capex out of the gate for sort of moving a project forward.
Are you guys expecting to drive the Addit directly into the Bonanza zone?
Again, JDS is coming to site. They're the professionals. We're project generators. We're not mine builders, and they'll definitely give us their opinions as to what they feel would be the appropriate spot. But I think you would probably, again, possibly put it above and or below, and then you have gravity to do your bulk sample, assuming that was part of the go for it.
Okay, so also you guys had the Colorado School of Mines release a report back in April on the Sherbet zone. What's the high level of the report?
Yeah, again, really just dating the various of the dikes, the various loads, also the type of gold is situated within those various that host rock. So in the dikes we're seeing a hotter magma gold. In the various loads like Bonanza, Sherbet, etc., we're seeing a kind of a cooler magma gold there, and then basically where we got that high grade gold, that hole 260 that ran over an ounce, 39 meters. It actually has a combination of the hotter magma and the colder magma gold. We call that the Goldilocks zone. So it got a double imprint of the various pulses from the feeder, and ultimately that's one of the areas that we are following up on with the focus of, again, getting that higher grade type of zonation, let's call it, for people can look at once we have all our assays out by the end of the year or early next year.
Okay, so my understanding of the study is that it confirmed that the system is a reduced intrusion-related gold system at Sherbet.
Yeah.
What does that mean in terms of exploration?
Well, it just means that there's a massive, massive body sitting somewhere close to the Sherbet discovery. I'd call it more of like a magmatic intrusive body. Certainly the some other people have piped in. They're thinking it's kind of a hybrid. Reduced intrusive with some other style of mineralization as well. But clearly, you think about the energy that it would take to drive all this gold into the granitoid bodies of the dikes. Call it, the peak of the mountain is 1,700 meters above sea level. We do have an area of 1.8 square kilometers of, these stacked zones of mineralization. So just think about the engine's got to be significantly larger than the current area footprint that we've currently have uncovered.
Okay, so last question for you here, Roger. If I'm an investor watching and I see that there is this big drill program happening, I think that the obvious question we ask at this stage is, what does the next 12 months look like? But I think that in this case here, it's simply a function of when do you think we'd start to see results from the drill program?
Well, first and foremost, we're going to see results from our relogging. We initially we only had 50 holes, and now we're seeing VG in this altered calc silt breccia material. So we've bumped that up to 75 holes. That represents roughly 3,400 meters of samples that we could be sending to the lab. So we're going to see that batch first. Obviously, we saw the first result earlier this week with almost a 100 gram meter hole here, and within the dikes, within the UCNH dike, and looks to be forming some nice continuity there. Based on some of the images, if the folks want to take a peek at that news release. And then right now we've got rigs turning, and we're going to have 2025. We maybe have some visuals. Fingers crossed that we see some nice chunks of VG in there as well that we'll announce. But ultimately, we would package those up because obviously the whole system's got lots of gold, and it's kind of people are get bored going, oh yeah, more VG, okay, but maybe on the first a couple holes here, if we do see some VG, we might put something out, but ultimately would put a rush on those assays, and we may see that. Call it sometime in early July, possibly.
All right. Well, Roger, thanks very much for hopping on here. For our audience, we're planning on visiting the site this summer, so that's something that we're really looking forward to. This is one of the names that we've really it's really caught our attention. Let's put it that way in terms of those intersections you guys have put out. We think that this is going to be one of the big stories in this gold cycle. So we appreciate you engaging with us and hopping on here and telling our audience about the story, because this is certainly a name that we have quite a bit of interest in.
Yep. Thanks for having me, and look forward to hosting you up in Kitsault. And I think you guys are going to be blown away as to what the heck is going on up there.
Thanks for hopping on, Roger.
Cheers. Thanks.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this interview, do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.